In this video, I'll explain why you shouldn't run the battery test in service mode. Many people have been trying this lately. You need to be aware of a few things before you give it a try. I will also be comparing the data from the battery test to other Tesla apps like Teslafy, Tessie, and Scan My Tesla, which gather data from your car. Before I get started here, just want to lay out some criteria about my car specifically. It's a 2022 Model 3 long range. I purchased it back on December 30th, 2021. It's now November, so we're looking at about 10 months or so into that. And then, so I have just under 18,000 kilometers on my car, or 11,000 miles. You have to have software version 36.6 or higher. Right now, it's not supported on FSD, so full self-driving cars. That's not included in the software. It may be in the latest release. I haven't found that out yet, but the latest one may have it. So there's a few things you need to do before you actually start the battery test. Again, at this point, I'm not recommending anybody doing it because it does have minimal value in doing the test. So let's take a look at what's required, and then we'll go through some of the things about it. So the first thing you have to do is be able to access the service mode. Up here, I will show you a video on me doing this test, so it gives you all the instructions on it, but just a quick overview. You're going to have to be under 50% and have a place to plug into a level 2 charger to actually perform that test. This test could take up to 24 hours to complete, so that's a drawback right there. It's not something you just do and a couple minutes later you're going to have to live without your car for up to 24 hours. Now, I started at 17%, I believe, and it took 16 hours to complete. So if you have a charge that's scheduled to happen at a specific time, just turn that off before you start this test. Now, I don't have experience in that because I don't do it, but let's just go ahead and say you turn off the scheduling. So why do I say not to perform this test? So it's going to drain your battery down. It takes time to do that. And then it's going to charge it up to 100%. And if that happens at midnight and you're sleeping or you're away from your car, it's going to sit at that 100% for an extended period of time. So you do need to kind of time that piece. Now, from the 5% that it took my car down to the 100% on my car to fully charged was between 12 and 13 hours. So account for 12 to 13 hours plugged into your home level 2 charger. A lot of people have had issues with actually getting the test started and knowing it actually started, because there's no notifications other than, in my case, my car just started making a ton of noise, and then it took it down to 7%, and then it just went silent, and I thought, oh, the test is going to start charging the car. Well, it sat at that 7% and then slowly drained it down to 5%, and then it just sat there for a while. Some people have experienced starting it at state of charge below 7%, and it actually drained their battery to 0, and it sat there for many hours. So that's not a good thing for your car to do. So that's just something to look for. Start at least with 10 to 15% if you're going to do this test. And if it goes below 5, then I would think that the test is not functioning as expected. Anyway, so at that point, it's going to start charging your car just like any other charge, but it's going to override your settings. So if you have it set to 70, 80, or 90%, it's just going to go right to 100%. And then it's going to sit there till you drive the car. So be sure that when it does reach that 100% and the test is finalized, that you don't leave it there too long and then move on. Take it for a drive or something. So the thing that's big about this is there's no status bar or notifications or anything during the entire process. So it could be doing something or it might not be doing anything, but you don't know. Even myself, I kind of question if the test was still functioning several times. And even when it got above the 90%, and then it popped to 100%. So it didn't tell me like 98 or it's 97. It just went from 89 to 100%. And my charge was set to 90. So it's sporadic how it functions. I know everybody seems to be having issues with it. those are the reasons I wouldn't do it. So your car could be left unattended at 100% for an extended period of time, which is not good. It could also be left at a state of charge below 5% for an extended period of time if the test has failed. Now to the results. So when the test completes, that button that you clicked on originally for the test, it goes away, and then it just gives you a percentage. So in my case, it says battery health 93%. There's no dialog boxes, no indicators of what 93% is. I don't believe it's 93% available battery, which is telling me that I have a 7% degradation, because all the other apps that get the data from the car are telling me a different number. So I'm not sure what the 93% battery health is. It could be a combination of usable kilowatts left in the battery plus the resistance, because I noticed that it lists the resistance of the battery. That does have quite a bit of relevance to the battery for how fast it can charge, how fast it can discharge, how it can take a charge. So it may take some of those things into account, but there's nothing to tell you that. I searched the internet, I can't find anything. So really, you're doing a test to get a number, 93%, or some users I've seen 98%. Some have had 94%, but in general, I would say out of 10 people that have tried it, that have watched my video, like 4 or 5 of them have failed completely. So I don't know that it's a worthy test to perform. So I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't do it. If you want that data, you can get it from one of the apps. Tessie's a good app. You can get Tessify, which you can access from your phone or the internet. That's what I've done. I've had that since the beginning, so it tracks everything about my car, where I drive, how far I've driven, where I've charged, what state of charge I've put in. It's a really good one. So Tessify, it's really good. I like that one. Now, if you're a data geek like I am, then Scan My Tesla is really good. You get a dongle that you plug into the back of the car. It goes back there on the Model 3 and Ys. Tells you everything about the car. Initially, when I got my car, it was telling me I had, and again, I'm going to put this up on the screen, 572.69 kilometers, or 355.80.85 miles. And then my current is 545 kilometers and 339 miles. This is 100% at 100%. They calculated that range loss is about 27 kilometers or 16.68 miles. Now, that works out to a percentage loss of 4.69%. So Tessify is telling me that I've lost 4.69%. The battery health is showing a 7% unhealth. I don't know what that means. And then looking at the Tessie app, it's giving me a battery health of 96.3. It says my degradation is 3.7, so you put those two together, it's 100%. It does tell me that I started with 77.6 kilowatts of usable capacity. There's a buffer in there as well that's hidden. And then the usable that's right now is 74.7 kilowatts. And my current rated range at 100% is 545, which is exactly what Tessify says. So now looking at the Scan My Tesla app, it says that my full pack when new is 82.1, but I can't remember what the usable was, so I'm going to assume it was the 77.6 that Tessie's reporting, because they gave me the nominal full pack is the exact same as the usable that's available today, which is 74.7. And they are also telling me that there's 3.36 kilowatts of buffer in that battery. So if you're really a data geek, the Scan My Tesla is the best. You have to buy a dongle and then purchase the app, and then when you have to be in your car. You can't do this from any distance because it's Bluetooth to the dongle. But you can get a ton of information. I mean, you can even get how many times the wipers have wiped. It tells you, you can look at each battery cell and see what the voltage is. You can see amps going in and amps going out. I mean, there's stuff in there that I don't even know what we need it for, because it's not all related to battery. But at this point, it's telling me that my charge cycles on my battery are 62.9 charge cycles. So a charge cycle is from 0 to 100% is one cycle. So if you do 50% to 100% twice, that's one charge cycle. These are the reasons I wouldn't do it. It takes a long time. Quite a few people have had failures on the test. And then when you do complete the test, it's just a percentage value of health and nothing more. It doesn't balance the batteries, it doesn't increase it or nothing. So there's no value at this point to run this test unless you are critically having an issue with your battery.